What are we talking about this week?
We are talking about Prince Harry and others have lost their phone hacking and illegal interception of information and bugging and things like that case against the Mail. And we're going to be talking about that, what it means. It's kind of an end of an era for lots of those things, but I would like to talk about it because I think it's very interesting.
I would like to as well because it seems quite opaque and I've been waiting to get your take on it. We are also going to talk about the most successful UK song in British chart history. Do you know what it is? You'll find out what it is, I guess, in the second bit of the show. But it's a shocker, but also about what happened to, that culture where everyone knew every song.
Yes. And we're going to be talking, I love this one, about drinks of the summer. What is the drink of this summer and why do we have the impression that there is one?
Yeah, and also why is there more money in that than any other industry we ever talk about?
The Rest is Entertainment is presented by Octopus Energy.
Now, we're going to be talking about an expression which I hadn't heard till 7 seconds ago, which is someone getting their flowers. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, it means you've been around a long time, but people suddenly think, hang on a second, you're amazing and you should be recognised.
So you're finally getting your due. You're
finally
getting your flowers.
And you're being garlanded. Now, I would say someone like this is someone like Jean Smart, who plays the lead in Hacks. She plays Deborah Vance. Okay, Jean Smart is extraordinary. She did a huge amount of TV and stage work, and there was a sense that she was sort of always brilliant. But then this one role came along, Deborah Vance in Hacks. They literally just give her the Emmy every year now. She gets her flowers every year. She gets her Emmy every year. As we always talk about Octopus's customer service, your account's run by about 10 or 12 people. You've got a small team.
And they know who you are.
Yes, and they are permitted to send flowers every week to a customer who might just be going through something, whatever it is. So they can recognise it's not an apology, it's just because someone was going through something and you get your flowers.
Another example of they seem to do business in a very interesting and customer-focused way. Imagine if Jean Smart is an Octopus customer, might get her flowers twice.
Yeah, every week. Let's start with Prince Harry and the Mail. There were various claimants in this case. It's Prince Harry, Elton John, Doreen Lawrence, the mother of the murdered black teenager Stephen Lawrence, Sadie Frost, Liz Hurley. And they accused Mail newspapers of obtaining private information via unlawful methods between the 1990s and the 2010s.
And it's been going on a long time, right? And Harry was looking for really significant damages and also just for some vindication as well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, there have been other cases. Yeah. This one alleged phone hacking, bugging homes and cars, using private investigators, obtaining financial and medical records illegally. And the crux of it, if I can describe a crux that turned out to be made of jelly, was that specific Mail stories, cited Mail stories, were based on these methods. Now, Prince Harry and others, as you know, have had other cases against newspaper groups which weren't based in that same way on specific articles. He's won a phone hacking case against Mirror Group. He got a settlement and apology from News Group newspapers who published the Sun and once published the News of the World.
So that was more about proving there was a culture of it at those organisations, and this is a
different way of going about it, and we'll get into the weeds of it in a second. Suffice to say, it was a 3-month trial. The kind of overall costs for all parties, both sides, is maybe 50 million. It's insane.
How is taking anything to court so expensive?
It's unbelievable. It obviously involves huge teams of lawyers, whatever. I mean, lawyers are very, very expensive. And they lost. And the judge, who's Mr. Justice Nicklin, said that the suspicion was not enough. They didn't prove their case at all. And there were unreliable witnesses, which we'll get to. Prince Harry and the others came out and said straight after that this is a complete and obvious whitewash. Oh my God, I'm going to come to the wisdom of that or otherwise in a minute.
Because you're not supposed to say that.
Well, let's get to it. But before we go on, I would like to say that I have absolutely I have absolutely no doubt that there was phone hacking of individuals. And I think on the balance of probability, these individuals, some of them have already obtained settlements from other newspaper groups. I'm not suggesting which titles did it, but it did occur, but not provably in these cases. Other cases have been proved. Yeah. The fact is they just failed to produce convincing evidence on any of 97 counts. Now, that is a genuine horror show.
Was that 97 sort of individual stories that they were saying that they had presumably...
These have derived from...
They could argue what had been derived from that, and they had evidence to back that up in court.
But they didn't. Yeah. And they did not have a case. And the indictment from the judge was just incredibly damning. And I mean, I've said this so many times on this podcast before and say it to anyone, never litigate, basically. It is, unless there is absolutely nothing you can do bar litigate. And in this case, the claimants seem to have been gingered along, whether by lawyers or activists.
No pun intended.
Well, lawyers or activists or whoever. And I do think that if you are any lawyer in any case, a decent thing to do is to make the person you're representing aware of the risk. Others got out. Someone like Hugh Grant, who is arguably, not even arguably, it's a lot cannier than Prince Harry, got out because people realise that if they don't win, then they're liable for all the costs and it can sort of bankrupt you and it's just not worth it.
And so you think it was obvious it was a leaky sieve right from the start?
Okay, there are certain things that happened that I would say, what on earth happened with the preparation here? There was a thing where Prince Harry was kind of sniffing to one of the lawyers, I've never been to a carnival, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, oh, well, it's in your autobiography. This is like, okay, the decent thing to do is to make people aware of risks. David Sherburn, who was the leading lawyer in this case and in lots of the phone hacking stuff, not a KC. Quite interesting when someone who's been that long in the public eye is not a KC. But I will say about phone hacking that it was investigated incredibly poorly, most particularly by the Metropolitan Police for reasons upon which many of us can speculate.
Well, that'll be one for the rest is history in 50 years' time.
Yeah, and it is becoming very historical, this. Hacked Off, who's the sort of campaign for press standards, and they've got various sort of leading lights of it. They got a guy called Graham Johnson, who was a Sunday Mirror self-confessed phone hacker. In fact, I think when he saw his colleagues being arrested, he voluntarily confessed to the police. And he recruited a guy called Gavin Burrows, who was some, kind of sea beast private investigator.
It's a good name for a private investigator.
Yeah,
Burrows.
I mean, take a look at him. It's absolute central casting, this guy.
Gavin Burrows.
Yeah,
he might as well be called Steve Delves.
Yeah. Gavin Burrows was a private investigator who seemed willing to confess to carrying out all kinds of crimes on behalf of the Mail. And I think he ended up getting paid $5,000 a month by people investigating on behalf of the litigants. And he said he'd hacked them and bugged them all at home in places that he'd been in places they'd visited. He and Graham Johnson eventually fall out, and then he switches sides. Gavin Burrows switches sides, completely disavows his earlier statements that are, by this point, part of the evidence.
Well, presumably they're the real smoking gun.
Yeah. Well, he detonated his credibility, obviously on purpose.
Yeah.
And now says he never worked for them. Again, I want to come back to the victims because all of these people, I know have been victims of phone hacking. Many of them have been involved in other settlements, whatever. And I have absolutely no doubt that they're completely traumatized and remain traumatized by those years. And in the way where lots of us have had bad things happen to us, you can carry on blaming it for lots of other things in sort of perpetuity. And it obviously gave rise to enormous paranoia amongst people who couldn't understand. Yeah. And some of them lost friends because they thought they were leaking, all those sorts of things. The judge did say that some of them were prone to reconstruction, and that it is that sort of thing of being in the rearview mirror and saying these things happened.
Well, if a judge says you're prone to reconstruction, I mean that's because they're so polite.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the indictment was like nothing I had read for a long time. It's really damning, and again, I think they've been led from behind by campaigners who will not be paying for this.
Right.
So we're going to have to go for the cost now because, as I said, I think people estimate that the overall thing is 50 million. Now, Associated, which is a newspaper group that owns the Mail titles, they are, from all the briefing that you're reading now, or you can see now, and from what I've heard, they're going to go for the removal of spending caps because they've said they're going to go, someone said they're going to go for the jugular. There's a hearing.
So what does that mean, removal of spending caps?
It means that they have limits at the moment on how big the payout can get. Right. Because these cases, we've tried to limit the costs of things in our legal system, and successfully sometimes and other times not successfully. There is a hearing in a couple of weeks where the same judge is going to hear representations as to why, and probably from associators, to why we want, the claimants to be left with 50 million in bills. Those litigants did have, the claimants, they had a level of indemnity insurance, which you can take out insurance. I think they had some sort of Guildford-based firm, and they've got a level of insurance which will take you up to, say, 14 million. That's an estimate.
What I call a Guildford-based
firm.
Yeah.
But it's quite a specialist thing to provide, indemnity insurance on this stuff. But it's nowhere near 50. Having said that, again, talk about bad advice. Your conduct after a trial matters. This is why when people come down the steps of a courtroom and they say things like, we're incredibly disappointed in the verdict, this is fine. These are emotions. You can have feelings about this or that. Instead, they attack the judges. There's a statement which attacked the judge's integrity. They sort of suggested that he was party pre, effectively, crooked, and that they hadn't been given justice.
And who would have signed off that statement? Is that the litigants or the lawyers or a bit of both?
I don't think actually that the litigants. I think that has come from some of the claimants on behalf of all of them.
Right.
Certainly it would have come from Prince Harry.
Right.
But I think that there are many in that legal team who understand that it was a stupid thing to do. It is so incredibly dumb and self-destructive to attack the judge afterwards when you could be on the hook for these enormous costs. And also what the insurers may say, well, I'm so sorry you voided your insurance because what you did was so incendiary and so, whatever, that you've effectively pushed them into removing the spending caps because... And in terms of who will pay,
and how much,
it will be Elton John and Prince Harry because they've got the money.
Well, Elton does.
Yeah. I don't know about Prince Harry's finances. We know so little, but I don't think he's ever struggled, but the way he likes to tell it, he's a church mouse.
Either way, if you're paying 25 million, that's
you've got to be Elton.
That's going to make a dent, isn't it?
So anyway, in terms of what the takeout for us should be, I think for sure phone hacking was massive and widespread and never properly punished in terms of the people who did it, other than financially. Now, it has cost these titles so many countless hundreds of millions to defend. They have been absolutely hit where it hurts, financially good. They deserved it. News UK alone, they think, have taken more than 1.2 billion in losses. Wow. Hundreds of millions have been paid to victims. We don't know how much because many of them settle privately and whatever. An unbelievable amount to lawyers, as always, as he said. But for me, that period is over. Okay, life is not perfect. As I say, lots of individuals melted back into journalism, into executive positions, into very senior executive positions who knew about this stuff and allowed it to happen. But it is what it is now. And the thing that gets me now most particularly is that journalism is really under threat. Look at Nigel Farage's address last week when he's going after specific journalists, specific titles. We know Trump has done every single thing in his power to attack press freedom. Nigel Farage last week was saying, look at what Sky News have done. And if you actually look at the footage, Sky News have come to a property which I wonder, we don't know, maybe it's in his name, and they've just knocked on the door. That is legitimate, okay? That is a legitimate inquiry within our politics. I care far more about press freedom in the here and now than I do about, I'm sorry to say, about phone hacking, which, as I say, the titles have been hit where it hurts. The balance is now tipped. We have weirder money than ever in our society and our politics, and we need the press to investigate. This would have been I think this would have been very, very difficult for press freedom. And, who investigated Farage? Certainly not hacked off or Prince Harry, right? Journalists did it. In fact, phone hacking was originally investigated by a journalist, by Nick Davis at The Guardian. And you've now had, just going back to Farage, you had two stories in the last in very short order. One from The Guardian, which found the matter of the 5 million donation from this Thai-based crypto billionaire.
And if you can't trust a Thai-based crypto billionaire, who can you trust?
Then what the hell?
Yeah.
Then you've got the Sunday Times and Times doing various things now. The donations that Farage has taken from this convicted fraudster and his mother of indeterminate funding sources. You might think, that's pretty quick for two stories to come up. maybe there's more to come. But the people who will investigate it, I have to say, will be journalists.
Yeah.
And you don't see that. I mean, people who cover showbiz stories now, they just sit on people's Instagram accounts, and it's not done in the same way it was at all. But I do think these are really dangerous times in terms of freedom of speech, press freedom, and massive amounts of unexplained money in our politics. And now more than ever, I think this should be the line underneath it. And people should get behind anything that throws daylight on anything. And I'm sorry for all litigants in these cases. Many of them have received payouts. I think people know what happened, but it is over. And I think that it's becoming quite difficult to support, a prince versus a business which is trying to expose things that are wrong amongst our... If this was an institutional failure. Let's be really honest.
Yeah.
This was a massive institutional failure, phone hacking. But I think it has been put right, as much as in an imperfect world.
Yeah, I mean, it's because, listen, I absolutely agree with the thrust of what you say, but in terms of the 19th century novel of this whole thing, is Harry will never get the closure that he wants. He wants someone to stand up there and said, we wronged you, we did it deliberately, this is what we did. And you can see, you know why, you know where he's come from. That will never go away for him, but I don't think he's ever going to get that closure, right? No,
he's never going to get that closure. And it's it's too crass to do the sort of pop psychology, but it's never going to bring her back. It's really awful.
Yeah.
And I feel and without any question, these people were victims of it. But I think the sort of leading from behind needs to stop, because the times have moved on now and we have to move on. And amazing journalism is being done about some of the most vital issues in our society. And I think that I'm pleased that we haven't ended up with tighter controls on press freedom as a result.
And so do you think there's ever going to be this Leveson 2 inquiry, the follow-up to the first one?
Do you remember that Kevin Costner movie, Horizon? And he said there were going to be 4 parts of it, and the first one fell off the screen, and the second one he pushed out. Okay, Horizon 4, you are more likely to see Horizon 4 than Leveson 2.
Can I just say all the way through that, because that was fascinating, so thank you for that. But all the way through, I was thinking that I said the phrase, a leaky sieve, and I was really angry with myself, because, of course, a sieve is leaky. But, if you had a non-leaky sieve, you'd take it back.
Yeah, wouldn't
you?
Hopefully someone will take us to court just for you doing that.
But really the case was a sieve.
Yeah.
Or a leaky bucket.
Yeah. Yes.
But not a leaky sieve, which would be a great case to take.
Yeah. Otherwise Big Sieve will come after you, and you don't want that.
Big Sieve is a great name for a character.
Private investigator?
Yeah, Big Sieve Burrows.
Big Sieve.
Big Sift. Shall we go to some adverts?
Let's do that.
This episode is brought to you by the Lloyds 5K house deposit.
Lloyds are offering a 5K house deposit, which was last seen in 1996. What are your entertainment memories of the 1990s?
I feel guilty talking about the 1990s because you look back and it was such a golden era.
We'd never had it so good, and we didn't even realise, because we were young and we just thought we were entitled to it all.
We absolutely took it for granted. Yeah, Britpop was absolutely in its pomp. Oasis playing to 250,000 people. You had Blur
Spice
and
Girls
Suede
and Girl
and Pulp.
Power. I'm so sorry.
Spice Girls. Amazing movies at the cinema, Train Spotting. It felt a time of absolute optimism, but at the time you just assumed that was the way that the world was going.
A very British type of optimism.
Yeah, and part of the optimism, of course, is that mortgages were more affordable, and that is what Lloyds is dealing with right now.
Yep, last seen in 1996, Lloyds are now offering 5K deposit mortgages to first-time buyers. Search 5K first-time buyer.
1996 average first-time buyer deposits based on ONS data. Subject to status, your home may be repossessed if you don't keep up repayments. Conditions apply. Welcome back, everyone. Now, Marina. 16 weeks at number 1 for Rein Me In by Sam Fender and Olivia Dean. I would say absolutely, it's a great, great song, but fascinating that it beats Love Is All Around, and yet it's not a song that I would say is absolutely the heart
it's not like
of our culture.
Yeah, it's not like one of these sort of songs that, like, I don't know, things like Wonderwall or like New Rules or Adele, things that just suddenly just seem like they've taken over the world. It doesn't have that feeling, and I know you're going to tell us why.
Well, yeah, well, we will get onto Wonderwall later, actually. But yeah, what I really wanted to think about, because of course, when Wet, Wet, Wet were number one, and when Bryan Adams was number one with Everything I Do It For You, which Rein Me In has just tied with. But of course, Bryan Adams is not from the UK, but Sam Fender and Olivia Dean might break his record next week as well if they stay at number one for another week. Now, Wet, Wet, Wet and Bryan Adams sold physical singles. You had to go into a shop, you had to physically, actively buy one, whereas Sam Fender and Olivia Dean, we now live in the age where streaming is a huge part of how a song gets into the charts and how it stays in the charts and why songs stay around for quite so long. The actual story of Rein Me In is fascinating. It tells you everything you need to know about streaming. So it was Sam Fender's third album. It was like track 8 on his third album. It was the 6th single released from that album. And by the way, Sam Fender sells a lot of physical copies of his albums. People buy physical versions of Sam Fender's stuff, and he's also brilliant. If people don't know him, genuinely, he's fantastic. But that song, as I say, 6th single from the album, went into the charts at number 86 in its first week. Olivia Dean was on tour with him. We talked about this a little before. Came and sang it with him, and then she and one of her songwriters wrote a verse. They released that.
It's about the breakup. We should say it's about the breakup of a relationship from the kind of guy's point of view. But she added a kind of rejoinder, and that is what has
from the female point of view, which really, really, really works. And they clearly have enormous respect for each other. Yeah. And Olivia Dean is now so. She was supporting him, and she's now so enormous that it's a real juggernaut, and it's a really lovely song as well. But it took 36 weeks to get to number one. That song took 36 weeks to get to number one. It's now been number one for 16 weeks as well. It's been in the charts for over a year. And these are things that didn't used to happen, right? When we had physical singles, your first sort of 4 or 5 weeks, you'd get the odd song like Wet, Wet, Wet or Bryan Adams that would stick around for 3 months, but nothing else. Whereas you look at the charts now, As It Was by Harry Styles is still in the top 75. I mean, these things
Number
hang
one
around.
songs stay something like 3 times longer than they were in the 60s. What's interesting, but I will probably get to this in a minute, but there's much more churn down the bottom. That has never been more churn-filled, that section of the charts, but the top is... It's why it creates sticky hits, right? Streaming it just,
and it's why we don't have Top of the Pops anymore, because it would literally be the same songs every. I think the highest new entry in the chart this week is like number 38 or something. I mean, it is it's just the charts are not what they used to be. I think it's interesting. So it made me really think about streaming, because streaming came in 2014, started counting in the charts. So I wanted to look back and I try and pinpoint the exact date at which streaming killed physical music.
I love you for doing this.
And I have an exact date written down. I did a couple of things. So firstly, I looked at the top 50 best-selling singles of all time. So those are the ones that physically sold copies, right? Which is not something we really look at now. And of those 50, there's one was from the 1950s. That's Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock. There's only 4 from the 60s. The 3 of those are the Beatles. One of them's Ken Dodd. In the 70s, we have 8 of them. You've got things like Bohemian Rhapsody, Mother Kintyre, You're the One That I Want, Rivers of Babylon, that kind of, era when songs, again, sort of hung around for a whole summer. In the 80s, we had 11. You got things like Band-Aid, Relax, Last Christmas. 90s, we had 15. So I was really, ramping up. You would think that's the point. So we were really still buying a huge amount of music, physical music, vinyl music, CD music in the 90s. That you got Barbie Girl, you got Bryan Adams and Wet, 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 Britney Spears, things like that. In the 2000s, there's only 3. Black Eyed Peas is one. Will Young is one. Then, 2004, they start including digital downloads in the charts. So digital downloads still counts as a physical copy of a song because you are paying for it, and once you pay for it, you own it. Okay, so you got people going into Woolworths and buying, a vinyl 7-inch single, but you've also got people literally physically buying music from 2004
Apple Music or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings a huge glut of million sellers in the first part of those, from like 2011 to 2014. How about this for a run of songs? You have got Adele, Someone Like You, 2011. 2011, Moves Like Jagger, Maroon 5. 2012, Somebody That I Used to Know, Gotye. 2013, Happy by Pharrell, one of the top 10 selling singles of all time. Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. Get Lucky by Daft Punk. Wake Me Up by Avicii. And then 2014, Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. I mean, that is a absolute sort of what a golden era. They were all selling over 1 million there because that was the prime time of digital downloads. So not only were you There's still some physical music being bought in shops. There's also these digital downloads. But when did we stop buying music at all? And that era of 2011 to 2014 is the absolute key. Okay, there's the complete key. In 2011, when Adele was at number one with Someone Like You, when she sold over 1 million, Spotify had fewer than 1 million users. Okay, fewer than 1 million in 2011. In 2014, when Uptown Funk, it's just this period of 3 or 4 years with these huge sellers and people paying for music, literally paying quite a lot of money.
Giving money.
Giving money to
artists
to exchange for something. When Uptown Funk was number one, end of 2014, 75 million users. So just those 3 years have gone from under 1 million to 75 million. And what happened in the middle of that is in 2014, the chart started letting streaming in. So from 2014. So Uptown Funk in 2014, after that, after Uptown Funk, so we've had, 8 songs in those 3 years, which are amongst the 50 best-selling singles of all time. How many do you think since 2014 have been in the top 50 best-selling songs of all time?
Tell me.
0. Not a single one. Uptown Funk was the last ever one after this incredible run. And literally just 6 months after streaming was allowed into the UK charts as well.
I love this. Also, I love the fact that your notes, which I can see though not read, literally look like you've killed and will again.
Yes.
You've really got into this.
I'm like Charlie Day. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. No, I really did get into it. And more to the point with Uptown Funk, not only was it the last ever song to be in that top 50, it also was the first song ever to have 2 million plus streams in a week. The first song in UK chart history. So it was the last song ever that people actually bought, and it was the first song ever that people really started streaming. So the day that got knocked off number one, I'm going to say is the final day when streaming finally beat
the selling of music died.
Not
the day the music died, but the day the selling.
The day the selling of music died, and that was the 8th of February, 2015. So 8th of 20.
Wow.
We have not had a single song that has been in the top 50. If you look at the streaming charts, it's fascinating, and almost every song is after that era. Almost every song, to the extent that. So you got the 50 best-selling songs of all time in the UK.
Yeah.
You got the 50 most streamed songs of all time in the UK. You would think there'd be a fair bit of crossover there. Some of the biggest songs of all time, you would think there's a fair bit of crossover. There are only 2 songs on both those lists.
Wow.
One of which won't be there for long because it's Avicii, Wake Me Up, which is number 50.
Yeah.
Even let's assume that was this month's figures, but next month that probably won't be on there. So there is only one song in the history of UK chart music, there will be very soon, that is in the 50 best-selling singles of all time and the 50 most streamed singles of all time. Do you know what that is?
What is it? It's
the song that eats everything before it. It's Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Gosh.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is.
So what happens this week? So Rein Me In might beat Bryan Adams this week. Is that important? Music is different to how it used to be, for sure. We don't have the monoculture we used to have, that's for sure. But this is how we measure the charts. And this incredible song by these 2 incredible artists has...
Yeah.
And it's, by the way, and we've spoken a bit before about how the charts are done, it's very, very hard to keep at the top of the charts these days because
they try and handicap you basically, so that you don't. There is some movement.
Yeah, so it's an incredible achievement. If it can beat Bryan Adams this week, it'll be 17 weeks at number one. I think possibly it might not. I think it might be knocked off the number one this week, and it all depends on what happens in Atlanta on Wednesday evening. The unofficial anthem of the England World Cup team.
Well, that was and is a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Never got to number one when it came out.
Yeah.
Now that to me is something that you just heard across the country, and it just felt like everyone was in its grip.
Incredibly catchy, sort of a cross between a ballad and a rocker.
Yeah.
It's become this anthem that they're singing at the end of every England game. If we go out, then it will fall off a cliff, just like Christmas songs do on the 26th of December. But if we go through, I say we, England, go through, then that might scupper Sam Fender and Olivia Dean. They'd probably be happy about that anyway.
Yeah.
Be quite a nice thing to lose to. And that is, funnily enough, on the list of the 50 biggest selling singles of all time. And you never know, could just get onto that list of top streamers as well. Got to get to like 3.5 billion. Although it doesn't feel like the sort of achievement that it was when Wet 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 did it and Bryan Adams did it. I just think it's a different type of achievement in a different generation. And I think it's a great song. And I think if you worry about modern music, you look at the entire recorded works of Sam Fender, you look at the entire recorded works of Olivia Dean, and we're in pretty good shape. But I've really, really enjoyed looking back through the thing. But yeah.
That's amazing.
8th of February 2015 is the day that people stop paying musicians.
It's also fascinating how many, like how movies just sold songs, like both of those other two songs are sold off the back of Four Weddings and a Funeral, which obviously became a phenomenon, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, it had Christian Slater in the video, so I think that's probably what sold the song for me.
But even Happy
what
was
happened to Christian Slater?
What happened to Christian Slater?
Oh, my God, he had an incredible run for, like, the late 80s and early 90s, and I loved him so much.
I'm amazed.
I could do a whole bonus series on the guys who were on my wall. I mean, big time. And Christian Slater... I would like to give some proper attention to. I loved him so much.
So you would like to give some proper attention to?
Yeah, I would.
Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
that was the point. You know, that's why they're on your wall. Sorry, that's the reality.
God, I knew this chart chat would end with Christian Slater.
Sorry, I just couldn't keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
He's in the video. I can't believe actually Kevin Costner or his agent allowed him to be in the film with Kevin Costner with that dreadful hair. But I think Kevin Costner at the time thought he was in his imperial phase and nothing could disrupt him.
Yeah, I'm still very much looking forward to Horizon 4. Perhaps Christian Slater's in that.
Where are you, Christian Slater? I love you.
But anyway, congratulations to Sam Fender and Olivia Dean. And yeah, keep a lookout if they break Bryan Adams' record next week. But I have a sneaking thought that Wonderwall might do it. I think if we win against Argentina, it will do it.
Oh, we all want Wonderwall to do it because it will imply something else. But
yes, that's true. Apart from Sam Fender. Well, maybe Sam Fender would as well.
I think probably everyone's on board with this.
Nice to play some music on the podcast as well.
Yes.
We should do more of that.
Yeah, much more music.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe even the videos.
Yeah, and talking about interactivity, we don't have any interactivity in this next section, which is about the drinks of the summer. Perhaps we should have done. It's a bit early.
It is a bit early, okay. The drink of the summer, as I say, what is it and why do we have a notion that we have one? There are obviously always fashions in cocktails. I find cocktail wars the only acceptable form of identity politics. And Winter had a sort of drink this year with the dirty martini, and like lots of people sort of talk about it, mention it.
I can't do a dirty martini.
Oh, I love them.
I don't like olives in my non-alcoholic meals. I don't like them in my alcoholic meals, which is what I call drinks.
Alcoholic meals. I love them in my alcoholic meals.
Okay.
So some of the drinks of the summer and so on are about marketing. In fact, marketing is a huge part of all of these things. Aperol Spritz, let's just get it out there because this is the case in point. Aperol Spritz used to be like a cheap sort of kind of rock space bar drink, backstreet thing, came from Venice originally, and it became this sort of cocktail. They changed everything. They changed, they buy the umbrellas. They changed the glasses to this big balloon thing. Campari acquired it, I think, in 2023, but by then it had already become huge.
It's like it's the pulled pork of alcohol.
It's what's amazing about Aperol is that it is low alcohol compared to lots of other similar things, even Campari. So this is so great, you'd love this. This is the license to print money because you need a comparatively high volume of it in the drink. So you might put 25 mils of something else in a drink, but an Aperol Spritz has got 45 mils of this thing. So you
use more and more
it's
of it.
An absolute banker, okay? But it did sort of slightly change people's taste because it's a slightly bitter taste. So this summer, okay, what are we talking about? Hugo Spritz is big. That's Saint-Germain liqueur. Now, people front the brands, you see. So Sophie Turner is the face of that. Market research has forced me out to be going out like twice a night for about the last 50 nights. And you see masses and masses of Hugo Spritzes. Hugo Spritzes are everywhere.
And that was quite an obscure liqueur, the Saint-Germain.
They've been building that for a long time.
It's very, very impressive.
They've been building it. Remember, the visuals of drinks are very, very important. The platforms have completely changed our material world. What people loved about Aperol was that it was orange. It looks great. Photographs really. It's got to photograph well. Hugo Spritz also look good. But remember, and also it's part of sort of trend culture because people buy and post drink pictures themselves with drinks because they're able to post it.
Yeah.
It becomes a kind of in-group signifier. It's an identity signaling. It's not about necessarily fancy cocktails, but it's about showing who you are and sort of it's a form of fashion.
Yeah. Aperol Spritz is almost perfect because it's not fancy. It feels artisanal. Yeah. And it feels kind of, because it does come from Venice and it's a sort of real drink. As you say, it's in that beautiful schooner, so it photographs well. And it tastes okay.
Yeah.
But the taste is very much the last part of that. But it's bigger than Campari Spritz because Campari Spritz is a bit too red.
People find Campari quite bitter. It's
Yes.
quite medicinal. But I think the actual drink of the summer. First of all, I'm going to do alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Alcoholic, the vodka cran, the vodka cranberry. This was invented by Ocean Spray. Lots of Ocean Spray,
way.
of course.
Really?
It was invented by Ocean
How do you
Spray.
invent that?
No, well, you've got Ocean
It's just
Spray.
putting some juice in some vodka.
Yeah, you're a juice company. You need to put yourself into a cocktail.
Yeah.
You need to become a mixer. And they invented it in the 1940s. They called it the Red Devil, a little bit of an unfortunate name at that time because of all the Red Scare and things like that. But these Hugo Spritzes, yes, you're seeing them everywhere. But Vodka Cran, first of all, people think it's Taylor Swift's favourite.
Okay.
Olivia Rodrigo's new album, there's a track on it called Expectations, which contains the lyric, rocking a mini dress with a vodka cran and an open heart.
Okay.
Conan Gray did a whole song called Vodka Cranberry, which he did at the VMAs. Again, it is a visual drink, but it's also in a time where, like, actually people are starting to ask, when you just get stuck behind, what most unacceptable thing is when people order coffee in a pub. It's like, I'm so sorry, this is going to take so long. Yeah, there are other places for this, but you don't want to get stuck behind in the queue by someone who wants one of these complicated drinks. This is a basic, serve it to me. By the time they've, made your friend's drink, you can have another one.
Pre-can it.
Yeah.
That's an easy one.
Oh my God, well, canned is beyond. Canned is like this completely explosive market.
Cans of wine, huge now.
Yeah. And it's got Y2K vibes as well, the vodka cran.
It's got what vibes?
Year 2K,
Oh, Y2K.
Y2K.
It's got why has vodka cran got Y2K
It has,
vibes?
because it's a sort of thing that people... Before, people went mainstream with cocktails and things like complicated things.
We didn't used to have cocktails, did we?
No, but
remember?
it's a drink in a mixer. It's
a
very
drink in a
simple.
mixer.
It's simple. But for Jen A...
I have never seen you so energised on an item.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm
It's
going
really
down to
quite
the
something.
I know. What nourishes me also destroys me.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see.
Yeah.
I mean, just a peek behind the mask.
I've got to rein it in. I'm too old.
Your poor kids.
Let me get down to their generation's drink. The Gen A, the mega drink, is from Starbucks. It's the strawberry acai lemonade refresher. Okay. This thing is beyond the status drink. It was started first by teens. They customize it a lot. It's very interesting. You'll be interested in this. Okay. It's part of like little treat culture. It's like kind of, it can be expensive, but it started by sort of cool teens. And then like Labubus or Stanley Cups, it becomes what they imagine to be basic. So it lowers down the age range. But Starbucks used to not appeal to teens at all. But they only started in 2012. They started doing coloured drinks, but crucially, they did cold drinks. And then 37% of the drinks they used to sell were cold. In less than a decade, it was 75%. Okay, it is massive. This drink...
Are you saying 75% of drinks that
sold in
Starbucks
Starbucks
sell
now are cold.
are cold?
And this strawberry acai lemonade refresher is absolutely huge amongst... You can't move for it on, people posting pictures of it.
I call it a self.
Again, yes, it's a
Strawberry
acai.
acai lemonade refresher.
No, Sala.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
The salad, yeah.
Salad. I call it a mo.
A mo, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
mo
a mo.
Sala.
Again, has to photograph well, but these teens and tweens are all on Drink Talk. They customize it in millions of Drink Talk. They customize it in millions of ways. They think it's ASMR, the noise of the eyes. They have their first sips, and Starbucks have really lent into it.
God, I bet they have.
Yeah,
I would.
Well, and
if I was
also
Starbucks.
of being a place to hang out because they don't have places to hang out. The other thing is something like matcha, which is now an entire aesthetic, that kind of green ombre. Yeah,
I cannot get with it. Especially every single matcha shop has matcha of the day written.
It's worse than hairdressers now. But I've never hated the hairdresser puns, but there's something about the matcha ones that's really irksome. There's something that's come off Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which is beyond. It's called a dirty soda. Okay, and it's a fizzy drink with cream and syrup. There's like 90 grams of sugar in one.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Okay,
Dirty soda. That would be my rap name.
Yeah, but it would be my private investigator name. But okay, so that is. So I think it's the vodka crown because actually that's the sort of advanced one. But the sort of lower level, the things that people are discarding because they think they've become basic are things like Hugo Spritz or whatever. And the strawberry acai lemonade refresher will be going down from the cool teens to the tweens now, like the Boo-Boos did.
But there's so much money in it.
It's unbelievable.
Some of the biggest companies in the world are drinks companies in their various iterations. I mean, it's one of those things where for every sort of fun little photo of, the sunlight through an Aperol Spritz. There's a multi-billion industry.
These people are paying to be your... We all pay to be their influencers.
It's clever.
It's unbelievable. And the same with the tweens, and the same with their drink talk, and then shaking the eyes. They're doing everyone works for free for these companies if they get it right.
I went down to see Ollie Smith this week, the BBC wine expert who I love, down in Sussex, which now is like the wine country, like champagne was 30 years ago. And I said, we got to invent next year's summer drink, Ollie. He said,
oh my God, I really want you to.
Yeah, with a bit of Sussex sparkling wine. Well, are you something like British, right?
Yeah.
Because we have amazing, the sparkling wine.
Yeah, it's got to have that
insane. And then we'll maybe find some sort of neglected English liqueur from somewhere. Yeah, but it's, I imagine it's harder than it sounds.
It takes longer than it sounds.
Given that all the people who currently have the drinks of the summer are all multi-billion-dollar corporations, and it's just me and Ollie sitting there with a drink. I'll tell you what we should do.
If anyone can game the system and work out and drive himself mad, is the person who made those notes about the number ones.
About the number ones, yeah.
That guy can do it. I believe in him.
Any recommendations this week, apart from alcohol-based ones?
Apart from continuing to burn the candle at both ends. Yes, somebody has now had number one albums in 5 decades, and it's Madonna. I really like Confessions too. I think it's great. It's a great pop album. It's really good. Okay, and we talked a bit about how the film is probably never going to happen, but in a way, this album is sort of better than that. It's a way of, it's looking back on her career in lots of ways. There's lots of callbacks to stuff. It's really good, but she does just have this cast iron belief in her own exceptionalism and strength. And where's the lie? I think I really like it. Really good.
So I'm going to recommend on Apple Widow's Bay, the Matthew Rhys show, which is sort of like a comedy horror, but it's really good.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ever wanted to write or anything, watch the first 10 minutes of that and see the world setting and see the character setting. It's so beautifully done. Matthew Rhys is amazing. Funnily enough, we got a question in the Q&A about why there are so many British actors in Hollywood. And I had a really, really, really interesting chat with the casting director about it. So we'll deal with that on the Q&A. But Matthew Rhys is amazing in it. It's really, really smart. It's written by Katie Dippold, who wrote Parks and Rec and all sorts of things. So I really, really love that. And it's also just like from nowhere, just got a whole load of Emmy nominations as well. I can absolutely see why. So Widow's Bay on Apple is really, really, it's kind of funny, quirky. It's a bit scary. Bits of it, but it's the humour kind of overrides everything.
Now, can you please tell me what your World Cup of is this week?
Yes, it is, and I've been looking forward to this one very much. The World Cup of UK quizzes.
Oh my God!
So we got everything
I felt
there.
A disturbance in the force.
We got The Chase. We got Pointless. We got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We've got the lot. Mastermind, Uni Challenge. Talking to John Robbins and Maisie Adam about it. I really, really, really.
Oh my God!
So that's available to members from tomorrow. If you want to be a member, go to therestersentertainment.com. We'd love to have you, but equally, we love everyone who isn't a member as well. We love you all equally.
And we will be answering your questions and the Q&A on Thursday. So see you then.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to Doing It Anyway, a brand new series from Goalhanger. I'm Katty Kay. I've spent years studying the science and art of confidence, writing books about how we can close the confidence gap between men and women, and talking to experts and younger women about how to pass it on. Confidence means taking risks, acknowledging your fears, and, well, doing it anyway. In this series, I'll be talking to psychologists, entrepreneurs, and business leaders to unpack how you can rethink challenges and grow your own confidence. We'll talk about how to spot the difference between confidence and competence, how to deal with office politics and stolen credit, and yes, handling rejection, and ultimately how you can become a better leader, teammate, and yes, a better person. Doing It Anyway with Katty Kay every Friday, wherever you get your podcasts.